Yo, people, what's going on? Welcome back to Saeed TV, and this is your Rivals Talk on a Friday. We are here. It's the day before the FA Cup final. It's transfer season is going mad. It's all kicking off. You know what I'm saying to you? We're in the building. We got man like Bhavs in the building. Bhavs, what are you telling me? What are you telling me?
All blessed, bro. I'm here for the transfer window now, and it's all kicking into gear. All the rumors are out, so I'm excited, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. Certain people have got rumors. Certain people have got manager rumors. Henry, are you on the hunt as well? You know what I mean? Have you been around in London trying to find new managers for Tottenham?
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? We've got so many links going around Tottenham, like Kane leaving potentially, and all the manager links. It's The only thing is, it's content, man. It's every single day there's a new story breaking, isn't it? But listen, big up. Thanks for having me on. I hope you both are well. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Hopefully Huey will be coming back in shortly as well. Big up to Huey. Drifty couldn't make it today, man. You got me big up to Drifty as always. But bro, we got to talk about this weekend, man. Bhavs, chat to me. FA Cup final. I want to hear the neutrals' view. I've been hearing a lot of Man United and Man City. I've done a lot of previews. I want to hear the neutrals. What are you saying, the neutrals, man? What are you telling me?
I wouldn't call myself a neutral, to be honest.
Well, come on, man. Also, you're on our side then. Because they beat a title race, man. You can't be
listen, you can look at personal circumstances. I don't know many City fans. I know too many United fans. To see you guys have 2 trophies in the same season would be devastating for me, even more than our title charge itself. So just to see you guys relax a little bit, calm down, not get over the top. I'm not a City fan, but I prefer City to win.
That's wild, man. After what they put you through this year, after the pain they put you through, I'd be thinking,
like growing up on Arsenal, it was always Arsenal United, wasn't it, in the Premier League?
Yeah.
That was the two big fish. I mean, for me, I'm not gonna lie, I want City to win. I mean, I just can't. The batterings we've taken from you over the years. I remember being 3-0 up.
What have we done to you, man?
I remember we were 3-0 up against your lot, and you brought on Ruud van Nistelrooy, and in 15 minutes he's got a hat trick.
Bro, man, listen, I've not done anything. Listen, I actually like Tottenham. Tottenham's a team where I actually back up for half of the time.
Yeah, I mean, you're always backing us up on the big six. I'm not sure why, but...
Yeah, man, because I don't really have an affiliation to Tottenham. I think Man United is the only club out of the big six where maybe Liverpool, where they got no kind of affinity towards Tottenham. So it is what it is, man. And we got man like Huey. Huey, are you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm just having issues with my laptop, but I think it's okay for now.
Yeah, man. We're good, man. How you feeling, man? Listen, Steve went this morning to Wembley, man. He said it's madness on the M6. You know what I mean? He said it's crazy. But, yo, how you feeling tomorrow? Are you flying out tonight, obviously, to London?
No, I'm flying tomorrow morning. I like to stay away from it for as long as possible. I don't want the nerves to kick in too early, you know what I'm saying? So I'll fly tomorrow. But, yeah, I'm nervous, man. I'm not looking forward to it. Like I said to you last night, I'm looking forward to the Champions League final because it's a European Cup final. But playing against you, first of all, and then in a cup final, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm confident, but I don't like the occasion.
Yeah. Just looking at it, though, Babs, yeah? Is this basically City, if they turn up, they should win? Or have United got something to kind of, like, you know what I mean? Can you see something in United? Or is it a case of, no disrespect on United, and Man City are a better team at the minute, but if Man City turn up, they win this comfortably?
If Man City are the better team, so yeah, you're right. If they do turn up to their best, they will win the game because United aren't quite on City's level yet. And, you know, United are threats. You got players on the counter-attack. But listen, without your best centre-back against Erling Haaland, it's looking like trouble. And let's not forget, I know City have lost the last game and the game before they drew, but when you see City's first team play, you can't even get through to the defence. They're so good at just winning the ball back high up the pitch and just pressing you onto the pitch that you can't play out of that. So you take out Sandro Martinez out of United's team, who is your best player in the build-up phase, and they're gonna cause you problems. And, you know, players like Casemiro are gonna have experience and stuff. But if Man City press him, has he got the composure to play out of that? We're gonna have to find out. But yeah, I think, listen, City are the big favourites for this.
Henry, how do you see it, man? How do you see the game for the neutral? Obviously, do you think Man United should be the ones that get the goal early on for the kind of neutral point of view? If Man City get the first goal, I think for me personally, it's game over because I just don't see them kind of conceding and kind of probably like faltering. I just think for me, United have got to score first. That's my own feeling. But where do you think?
the first 15 minutes are going to be the most important part of that game. If you start well and you're countering them because let's be honest, you're not going to get the ball. It's going to be, as soon as you've got a break and you've got to use the likes of Rashford. I don't think Martial's fit either, is he? So I don't know who you're going to...
No.
Rashford might
Where does he ever fit? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people were calling him the what was it, the Henri, like the young Henri years ago. Now,
Ballon d'Or clause.
Yeah, it's like every French player that's half decent that just gets compared to Thierry. I mean, like, yeah, it's a different story for a different day. But I think first 15 minutes can be so important for you lot. Man City are just gonna. I think if that I don't even think they've got to be at their best to even beat you at all. I think if they're just on it a little bit, I just think it could be a long day. If you score first, however,
yeah,
who's going to be playing at centre back to kind of hold out Haaland? If you've got no Martinez. Who's going to fill that void? Because it's
going to be Varane and Lindelof. Varane and Lindelof.
That's not strong enough to beat. Neither of them are prolific in the air.
Any centre back is not strong enough. Militao and Alaba couldn't stop them. Any defending World football can't stop Haaland. It's one of them. You have to be so good on your day. But I think for me, it's about just getting the first goal. That's the way I kind of look at it. Huey, I know, maybe nerves are kicking in now. Not normally quite super confident at first. But then you can't start to realize, listen, it's still a derby, isn't it, Huey? Like, you can't just be like, yo, can't disrespect you too much, Huey. I know you want to say we're Man City, we're on it, but you still got to be a little bit kind of cautious, haven't you?
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, absolutely. We were stung by you in January, and we've been stung by you a few times over the years. I mean, Pep Guardiola isn't immune to losing to Manchester United. Obviously, Oli manufactured a system that became super effective. Ragnar tried to follow it, and Ten Hag has now used it effectively too. So, am I cutting out there? My laptop's acting the bollocks here.
No, you're cool.
No, you're good. You're good.
Sorry. I'm having problems with this laptop all day, but listen, like I said, yeah, I have to be cautious because it's a derby, and like I said, you guys have given us problems before, but I'm super confident now that we've got a fully fit squad for the first time in God knows how long. The team is playing the best football I think I've ever seen, and we're on the verge of immortality. They don't need to be motivated. They don't need to be told how important this game is. The fans will make the noise regardless. Pep will say all he can say, but the players know exactly what's at stake in this upcoming week. So you're the first of two massive hurdles for us over the next week. But yeah, I've got to show it the respect because it's a derby and it's an FA Cup final. But I think what Henry or Bhavs said there is right. We don't even need to be at our best. But I think if we can emulate even close to the way we played against Real Madrid or close to the way we played against Bayern Munich, I just don't see you beating us. I really don't if we can hit those levels.
Yeah. I think tactically though, Bhavs though, how do we stop Man City? How do you I know it's kind of easy said than done, but if you were Ten Hag now and you look at this Man United team and you're looking at what we should do, is it basically playing a transition? Is it basically kind of counter attack? But then they don't really get beat now in terms of counter because they've got that extra midfielder in Stones. So how do you counteract that then? How do you stop it basically?
It is very difficult. It's very difficult. I mean, there's very few teams this year that have taken it to City. The only times I've seen it, obviously, Brentford have beaten a few times. I think even the game at the Emirates against Arsenal, we caused them a few issues, but it's very hard to play their game and beat them at it because they got two ways of playing now. So it's not just that they will play you their way, they can sit back and they can hit you in the counter. And because they've got a ruthless striker, they'll take the chances. So for United, I think the only way you have is to play transitional football and hope that your counter-attacking players can cause them issues. But I struggle to see how you get to that phase in the first place because it's just so good at just cutting the passes off before you get to their back line. I saw it against them at the Etihad. You just can't break through that initial press. And then, you got to cover De Bruyne as well. And then you've got Gundogan's runs and you've got Haaland and long day, man.
You just got to play like Tottenham.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to our ground, they never ever break us down. I don't know how.
Part of the bus, inshallah.
Yeah, facts. We haven't even got any good centre backs. Let's be real. Dyer somehow was beating Haaland in the air. I've never seen that before in my life. You just got to score or hope from a set piece goal and then just park the bus. Low block counter. Low block counter. If you go toe to toe, you're just gonna be a long day. Like Bav said, Arsenal did it for a period of the game where they were probably better than City for a part. But then City, they've got the players that have been there, seen it, done it, won trophies all over. This is a new phase for Man United now under a new manager. I think this is your other than the League Cup, it's your first final in 6 years. So it's a completely new era. I'll be real. I can't see anything but a City win unless you are you've got to be, everyone's got to have 10 out of 10 performances, score that goal. It'll be someone like Maguire. If it's going to be a goal, it'll be someone like Maguire, and then you'll just sit back. If it's going to happen.
Saeed, you muted.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the cases where I think we nullify them for long periods of the game. Like Bhavs says, first 15, 20 minutes, keep them in there, keep them pegged back, you know, just kind of almost treat it like it is an away game, but like just almost treat it like a ultra defensive performance. You know, sit back, hit them on the count, and then kind of go from that aspect. That's just the way I kind of look at it. But all in all, man, it's a final. You never know, man. Once someone can overdo it, and then it's a red card, and all of a sudden we got a penalty, something like that. Like we're looking for scraps here, and it's crazy that Man United are doing that. But we have to understand that we are in the new times now. Man City are superior in terms of every position. They are a better team, better manager. You would as well. So you've got to respect that in that sense. But ultimately, it's a derby. These players have got the mindset for these players is that it's a 50-50 game. Like we as fans can feel, you know what, that player's superior to you. But in your head, you think it's a one-off 90 minutes, perform. That's all you have to do. It's not over a season. It's not, you know, judging it consistently by consistent games. Sancho, it's now your time saying, right, one-off game, perform. And if you do that, every fan's like, well done, you've stopped the treble and you put in performance. Everything's vindicated. For me, all that 7-0, everything that happened this season, I'm telling you now, is vindicated. If they win this game here, they stop the treble and they win it finally.
Let me ask you something, Saeed. Is it, forget the trophy, but is it bigger as a United fan to stop the treble or to win the FA Cup?
I think for me, you know what it is, but then we're kind of doing two birds.
Yeah, I know you're doing two in one, but like,
for me, I'm not lying to you. As a fan, for me, I always want my team winning trophies. So I'd say the FA Cup. Another fan will say, you know what, I want City to not win the Champions League and go in that route. For me, as a fan, I will not go into a stadium saying I want my team to lose or I don't want my team to win a trophy, regardless of anything happens in football. Because at the end of the day, you can't rewrite history. You can't stop what's happening in the future. You just got to deal with what you've got to do. And I wouldn't want my team losing in a derby. That's just the way I kind of look at any game. I want my team winning. So I understand this kind of question. It gets thrown about a lot, but I always think like it's about you, though, isn't it? Like you win the FA Cup. What Man City do is what Man City do. So that's the way I kind of look at it for me. And I know there's different opinions on that, but that's the way
you can't because in terms of the treble, you've got a chance to stop it. It's not like it's out of your hands. So with it being in your hands, you've got to win that game. So I think it is about more fear factor. If you don't believe you're not going to win the game, you've got to have some level of, you know, we can do this, we can beat them, we've beaten them this season. And if you have no fear, maybe cause a few issues, and it will involve luck, but FA Cup finals are all about luck sometimes.
Absolutely, man. It's all about luck, man. So let's see what happens. Someone say there, Paul Saeed, the transfer window's going to take a huge toll. You know what? It's the added factor of the no new ownership. And then we're getting linked with Mason Mount. Like, listen, let me ask you a question here. I got a bit pissed off last night on the Big Six because I just thought to myself, like, you know, United, of all players, we're linked with Mason Mount. I get the manager wants it, but I look at the way I want to play football. It maybe clashes with the manager. Maybe it's just my kind of feel of where I kind of want football. But Mason Mount, like, is he a bad player or do you think he's a standard that Man United shouldn't be getting? Like, I'm going to ask you, Bhavs, first. Mason Mount at United, what are we saying?
Yes, take him. Do you know what?
Banner aside, though.
No, not even banner. I think he could work on the Erik ten Hag. I think he needs a defined system. I think it's, you know, we've the best of Mason Mount we saw under a top manager and Thomas Tuchel. When you gave him a defined role, I think it was 11 goals and 10 assists. Erik ten Hag could give him a similar level of system. He just needs a role. He's not really a freedom player. You can't just let him express himself. If you give him a clear and basic role, very specific of here's what you got to do, very simple, I think he can do a job. I think he's got a lot of the fundamentals to do it. My concern, if you were a United fan, would be how much you're spending on him. If you're spending upwards of £60 million, how does that affect your striker pursuit? You know, maybe United need another midfielder as well. There's so many other areas to address. Goalkeeper, can't forget that either. That I think Mason Mount, the player, could improve you, but the funds allocation is where I'd question it.
You know what it is, though? I get that. I look at Mason Mount and I think to myself, you know, when you see someone and you're kind of like, okay, fair enough, he can be elevated. But I look at his fundamental abilities. I just think there's better out there. I genuinely do. I think there's better out there. Yes, the manager can elevate his game, but I just think we've got a lot of them sort of types in our team right now. We've got the Brunos. We've got so many players who play in that similar role. And I just think for me, it's a car crash exercise if you're going to do that in the Premier League. Okay, we don't know what his system's going to be. We don't know what other personnel are coming in. But I just think he's a very, very limited footballer. I don't see any star qualities. Everyone, when they talk to me about Mount, it's about half turn in tight spaces. I don't see him, and I don't see where I'm trying to get to. Mason Mount's going to help elevate that. That's just the way I kind of look at it. Pretty much. I look at it and I think, you know what? He doesn't strike me as a star quality player. Again,
yeah, but
players can evolve in that. I understand that, but it's not what I envisage.
I think it's on a price tag. If you bring him in a lot lower than 60 million, I think it's quite a good deal there. I mean, he adds one thing. I look at your team. You're not really. I know Mason's not like got heaps of pace, but you haven't really got a massive amount of pace in the middle of the park anywhere. Fred, Casemiro, Ericsson, when he drops deeper, McTominay. You'd add a little bit more pace there, and he can play he played something like 8 or 9 different positions at Chelsea. He's quite adaptable, and I think he will improve you. But apparently they're looking at 80 million. Anyone paying 80 million for Mount, you're out of your mind. There's a lot better talent on the market for that sort of money. It's bonkers, that sort of price tag.
Yeah, but look at United. United have spent how much on Anthony? Was it 80
million? Yeah.
So if you're spending that much on Anthony, Mount's a bargain.
No, but this is the problem, though. We should not have paid that amount of money.
No, but I think that's the problem with. I don't know if it's Eric Ten Hag in charge of it or your recruitment, but you have overspent on players like that before, so it would be a United move to do that, and that's where I think your fans are calling for the owners and stuff as well. But a board's just as important. A board's just as important to not just getting the owners, but a new board, a new philosophy, or at least the direction where Eric Ten. I don't know who is in charge of your transfers. Is it Ten Hag? Is it someone else?
Ten Hag, but it's John Myrtle, sporting director. John Myrtle. He's the kind of like interlink between the manager and the ownership. So he'll be one of them that we're guiding. Yeah. But you're right. Maybe it is about the director of football and his philosophy in what you kind of want. But then obviously the manager will say, right, I want this player because I've watched him at Vitesse Arnhem. I've watched him closely at Chelsea.
I don't think Maddison would be like. I mean, Maddison's just been relegated, right? Apparently, there's different clauses in his contract where he's available for something like 30, 40 million pounds. Maddison, for me, is a far better player than Mount.
But right, you know what, head though. But people are saying to me, I raised that question today, yeah, and a lot of people say to me, but he doesn't work as hard as Mount. Are you kidding me? Like, you watched him against Leicester. Like, this guy's everywhere.
He's got like 20 goal contributions the last 2 seasons in a Leicester team that's been on its knees. Like, Mount can't even get in the worst Chelsea team we've seen in arguably a decade, 15 years. At one point we were talking about, can Chelsea really get relegated? Maddison's at least been doing. Leicester might, as a unit, might have dropped their levels, but he hasn't. Yeah. And let's be real. How much Leicester look at that they've been relegated? They're going to lose a lot of their players, the likes of Tielemans, Barnes, a few of their centre backs as well, and Ndidi. They're going to have to take whatever they can for Maddison because they've got to put the money back into the team.
Yeah, facts, 100%. What UFC here says, big up to you, my guys. I can't lie, I have to get a lot of respect to Huey. You speak too much facts, no agenda facts. I hate it. I'm a hater waiting for that aha moment. Listen, man, sometimes you got to give it to Hugh, man. He was ahead of the curve. We'll talk about Spurs in a minute as well. And obviously, we've got a super chat here from Di Maurizio. I don't know if I've butchered that one, my friend. Apologies. Big up Bhavs, the United fan from Punjab, India. Big up to everybody who's here. There's 800 people in here. Hit the like button, people. If you're watching right now, hit the like button. You know what it is, yeah? When I look at Mason Mount and I see these Chelsea fans in my comments here, and then these lot here are about to go and get Moises Caicedo and Ugarte as well. This is what I want to be talking about. If you say to me Moises Caicedo and Ugarte, I'm here and I'm absolutely in heaven, mate. I'm relaxing. Life's good. The technical footballers I know I'm getting is unbelievable. And they pretty much work in any system the manager would want to do. Because you know why? The football IQ is sensational.
But I don't think the Glazers are going to throw that much money at it, either. Like, Chelsea are just... Like, they've just got... This guy is not even worth as much as Daniel Levy, but he's just got funds ready to go. Like, Chelsea will spend another 150, 250 million this window. I don't think the Glazers are. I'll be real, I think you'll be lucky to spend 120. I think you'll have one big signing, and then it will be focused on getting rid of players.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. How many players out of your 25-man squad right now do you need to say, okay, you're not at the level? You're not at the level.
Maguire, probably
It's got to be at least
Donny,
8, surely.
Martial,
Lindelof.
McTominay, Lindelof,
Half the
you would
squad.
argue.
Easily half the squad for the levels that you're talking
Half the
about. Getting
squad, yeah.
to,
But
easily half the
realistically,
squad.
you can't get rid of them. We're
So
actually
what's the
getting
priority?
rid
To
of
add on to the squad and add someone like Mount, or kind of do what Tottenham are hopefully going to do and Arsenal did and sit back and watch from a distance. But I think one season Arsenal got rid of the likes of Mustafi, Leno, Socrates, Monreal.
Yeah.
They just chipped away at it. And now Arteta's got 20 players that he's brought through. That's what you need to do. Ten Hag's walked into a dressing room. Admittedly, he's won you the cup, but the bulk of the team is still Ollie's and before. It's not his.
Yeah, but there's a problem with that as well. Like if Ten Hag gets rid of those players, the issue is if you win an FA Cup or having won the Carabao Cup and got third place, there's going to be very high expectations next year. They want to see them fight for a title. That's what United fans want to see, right? And that's going to be very difficult if Mason Mount's your marquee signing.
You know me, yeah, Bhavs. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think my ambition next season is to win the title. My ambitions are very high, you know. Like, I know we had this top 4 race and it was all fun. Like, I don't know why you're laughing, Henry. I want to challenge.
No, it was Huey just shaking his head. That's what's
but you know, Huey.
Huey's like, nah, having it. Can't do it.
No, I want to challenge for the league next season. I'm not. We're not challenging.
This guy's just said he believes half the team is not good enough to play to the level that he wants, and half the team needs to go, kind of thing. So he thinks they're going to build. He thinks they're going to build half of a team that's going to challenge for a title next season. I just don't think it's going to happen. When you brought in Ten Hag, you're talking about a process and longevity. You can't say after one season because he's won a Carabao Cup, the next demand is a title race. You're not far enough along. You're nowhere near far enough along for that.
Did I say I want to I said challenge as well. Obviously, the win the league is Man City the clear favourites. Man City are going to be clear favourites until Liverpool come in or whatever. But I don't want to be coming on here saying every single season top 4 is the aim. Top 4 this, listen, top 4 is just a starting block. It's the foundations. You have to keep moving on. And I think for me, whether we should be in a title, whether we shouldn't, we should be in a place where every single summer we should be letting go of players. I mean, I know there's people that use that excuse, but if you really wanted to do something, you would do it. If you really wanted to get rid of these players and bring in 5 new stars, you would do it. There is a situation that it can be done. But if you then keep players in and you say, you know what, we make excuses and you create that environment where it's not a winning mentality, you become that environment. So I want to become an environment where, you know what, you get a deal with and he says, right, you 5, I'm contract is terminated. I'm bringing 5 in now. If you want to do it, you can do it. But it comes on how ambitious you are as an owner.
The concern you have, though, is when you've got players that are open to a sale, no one's going to buy them for a good amount of money because they're going to go, you don't want them, right? So I'll take, here's a little bit of money here. That's the problem. You want to have players that you say you want to keep, but you don't actually want to keep. So clubs come to you and you can actually negotiate. I think Arsenal might be doing that with Emile Smith-Rowe. They want to keep him, but if an offer comes in, you can get a good deal for him. When you say Martial can go, or team goes, okay, well, give us a loan then, innit? Give us a free. You're not having a lot of power negotiations then.
Yeah, but I get it, 100%. I understand that. But again, this is where hopefully we get new owners this summer. We have a plan, and we end up just going every year and year on improving. Again, this season was 3rd, but I still think the gap. If you're playing around 3rd and 4th, you're kind of like lost in translation because you're kind of like, well, we're top 4, but we're not going to reach the next level. Arsenal have done well here. They've had a process. They've done it well. But ultimately, if a club wants to do it, they can do it.
Arsenal have had a plan. This is what a lot of football clubs don't actually have. If you look at teams like Chelsea, Man United, and Tottenham, it's kind of by who fits the system, not who fits the culture. Yeah. That's two completely different questions that get mixed in. Like Zinchenko's got a lot of stick the last 3 or 4 months that he's not at the player, but at the mentality in the changing rooms, it's huge. Players. I mean, we was in the Europa League and the likes of I can't remember who the manager was at the time. It might be Jose Mourinho said the biggest influence was someone like Joe Hart. Like that, them sort of people help massively players like Zinchenko. And I think at the moment, what's the end goal for Ten Hag? If it's to win a title, then you've got to strip down and buy the players that he wants at high level to fit the system to compete. Exactly what Arsenal have done. If it's just to get top 4, you're going to do just enough, but hopefully the manager scrapes it over the line. Tottenham have done that for years. We've never built a team. We've always built an 11 that's good enough for top 4, but we've never really built a team. So when we get big injuries, like if Harry Kane gets injured tomorrow, who comes in to replace Harry Kane?
Yeah.
Like you're clutching at straws. If Romero gets injured, who comes in to replace Romero? It's like if Saliba gets injured at Arsenal, is Holding good enough? So they've built the 11. Now you just got to build the squad, and that's what Man City have done.
Yeah.
That's what all the other teams around have gone, right, this is our plan. Let's get him, and him. Chelsea at the moment don't know if they're coming or going. They're just going to spend another 150, 200 million pounds. Pochettino, I mean, I love him to bits, but big question marks. Can he handle that big change so early on? I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
Big up to YFC's Mason Mount can be a master stroke for Man United. I want to build the team the manager wants, not the team the fans want. Eric Ten Hag has a plan. I trust him. Listen, I trust him. I just disagree with the actual player. I think for me, if we can't have that opinion, then we might as well just forget everything in it. Whatever the manager wants, Vegas on a free, make him have a 10-year contract. Let's do it. So that's just my kind of opinion. Stephen A says that you barely know anything about Ugarte. Lol. Why is it any more exciting? Does your lack of knowledge about Ugarte make him better than Mount? I don't know if this is your first time watching this channel, mate, but I do cover most clubs. I've been watching a lot of players around Europe, so I don't know if the first time you're watching my channel, but I don't just watch Premier League, my friend. I watch a lot of players, and I've watched a lot of Mount, and I don't think he's it. So that's that on that super chat, mate. And Blaze A says here, great mentality, Saeed. Even though you want to win it, but those standards should always be high, and then it's easier to find the imposters to replace them. Yeah, that's what happens with a football club, innit? When you neglect it for so long, man, you get to this situation. Let's talk about Arsenal, man. Great situation going on with today with Xhaka, man, and Declan Rice as well. News: Xhaka been told Bayern is not hot at this stage. Internally, no talks about him. Bayern is still working on Rice. Negotiations between Leverkusen and Arsenal are going. Xhaka is still focused on joining Bayern, Leverkusen on this stage. That would be crazy though for Xhaka to be at Bayern. I don't see how that works, but it is what it is. But Rice, I seen Fabrizio mention that Arsenal will submit a bid in after the Conference League final. Where's your head at with all the midfield situations? Is it Caicedo still? Is it Rice you still wanting? What's going on?
Well, clearly Arsenal want Rice as their priority. That's why they're waiting for him to have the Conference League final done with. And I think it seems like with all the reliable reports that he wants to come to Arsenal want to pay the money. And, so far we haven't really got much from West Ham of, okay, 90 to 100 million pounds is not enough either. So it feels like it's a matter of time, but obviously I've been here with Mudryk before. But this feels a little bit different. It feels a bit like Gabriel Jesus last season, where it felt like it was already done before it was done. And hopefully we'll get it done first. My concern is when you're waiting for Rice, to get that done, with Caicedo available and the price tag there, I think is around 80, 75 million pounds. Why let him go to Chelsea? Why not make a move for him as well? Unless Arsenal are trying to, not be careful when, let's say they pay 80 for Caicedo, West Ham go, okay, you got money, so give us 120 for Rice. So it seems like they want Rice first, get it done, and then they'll go for other targets. I've heard today links to Xavi Simons as well. So they clearly want two midfielders. It's just a matter of get your main man in first. Get Rice in first. Get your first centerpiece, first thing in, and then focus on other targets.
Yeah, if you want to play Champions League football, you've got to get more targets. Simmons would be a good option. Like I said, you got to play in that role there where Odegaard is playing as well in that 8 role. So it's a good one, man. But I think with the Rice situation, I believe he's going to Arsenal. I genuinely do. I think that's the club where it fits him the most in terms of what they're trying to build. He can do the role that Xhaka does. He can do the role that Partey does. You know what, man? A lot of people look at Rice here. They look at the price tag. He's actually a good player, man. Technically wise, I think he's very, very astute. I think for me, he can play. He can actually go forward. He can sit as well. I think he's a good player, man.
Do you know what Rice would be for Arsenal? It's a statement. Yes. It lets Man City know that they're not going anywhere. If you look across the DMs, I don't even think he's a DM. He's more of a box-to-box. If you look across the league, he adds leadership straight away. Like, if you watch him when he plays for West Ham, he's talking all the time, every time. I mean, he might say, but he's talking at West Ham, but he's still done quite well. West Ham have done quite well in Europe the last couple of years. Got to Europe League semi, now in a conference final. I think you put him in straight where Xhaka is, and you've got Odegaard, Partey, and Rice. That's up there, in my opinion. With you're getting closer to City. That's a statement. If they can then add, I think Xavi Simons is good, but I don't think like getting players that are going to be ready in 2 or 3 years. They need players like Rice that are ready now. They need to drop another statement. If they bring in Rice, say they bring in hypothetically Rice and Caicedo, that's game changing for Arsenal. That is absolutely game changing. I think when Caicedo played against Arsenal, he was playing at right back. Like the guy has got quality all over. He plays in multiple positions. He's technically brilliant. He's young as well. Rice for me, that's scary, as like a lot of people will say. He makes them like they tortured us last year, home and away. That takes them up another level. And can't stand the football club, but it'd be unbelievable business if they get that over the line.
This is why I'm so excited for next season. Because I know that if Arsenal get their main targets, not only, as you said, as a statement of intent, it's Arsenal saying, look, listen, like Liverpool did with Van Dijk and Alisson, we are the real deal and we can sign players in their prime, in their peak. How often do you see a team go out there and sign a Premier League captain from another team? And listen, Declan Rice is a level raiser. Look at where every year he's been at West Ham, he's raised their level. I know this year they've been poor, but he got to a Conference League final. So Rice is clearly able to raise the level of West Ham. You come into an Arsenal team that is set in so many ways, not to mention the likes of Martinelli and Saka that are 21 that are going to get better as well. And it's looking good.
You know what's good about Arsenal? Well, not what's good about Arsenal, but what's good for Arsenal fans is that they're now signing players that now just fit into the team. You're not buying a Lukonga. You're not buying players for the future anymore. Like, I'm not saying Rice is not playing for the future. He's only 24, but you're fitting in the little key ingredients now. And I think what a centre back as well. If you could get him a right back for me as well, you need critically. I think Ben White, as much as he's good, I think for me, you'd probably want a more kind of suited right back in that role. You're getting, and obviously the striker issue is a one as well. Why are you not linked with a striker? He's still not. Is striker not an agenda? What's the situation with striker?
We've not lost this title because we couldn't score enough goals. We've lost because we couldn't.
You have as well though.
No, 88 goals scored is the highest we've ever managed. That's more than Invincibles, by the way. So Jesus hasn't scored 20, but Saka scored 14. Odegaard scored 15. Martinelli scored 15. That doesn't happen if you've got a 20-goal season striker. You look at Man City, for example. Haaland scored 35, 36. Who's their second highest goal scorer after that? I think he's probably got 10. 10, 9 max. The reason why Arsenal... What makes Arsenal different to Man City is we've got different goal threats. We're not built to just a one-man machine. It's trying to build a team around, right? We're like Man City a bit earlier. We don't have that goal machine. And also, there's not that machine on the market. Who's available in the market that we can go and sign that is Haaland, guaranteed.
It's probably better to play like that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. To win a league title, I'll be honest, bro, I think this is the best way to do it. To win a Champions League, Man City have got their way with Haaland. I don't think we can win a Champions League with Gabriel Jesus as your starting number 9 because he's just not clinical enough.
But you would want someone there, though. Obviously, Nketiah, listen, it's not the most prolific striker in the world. It's not the one that you can rely on the most. You would want someone who you'd want 2 in every position that was solid. Like, that should be the aim for me in most teams, that you have 2 in every position.
The thing is that in Arsenal, what we have is Mikel Arteta. He's got 5-phase plan, right? We're into phase 4 now. I think phase 4 is just solidifying the midfield defense. That's what it is. Drop all your money on making sure that midfield is as good as possible. Let's just say here's a Rice and Caicedo as an example. That is set for 5-10 years. And then phase 5 is you go all out attack again. You improve the attack to the next
level. What are you laughing at, Saeed?
Can I ask what these phases are? When does this phases become a thing?
I
hear the word thrown around. I don't know what it means.
No, Mikel Arteta said when he came for Arsenal, he's got a 5-phase plan, and he said it himself. He's now entering phase 4. Phase 4 was competing for a title, so we've kind of already done that in a sense. We've competed for a title. And now it's about making the midfield and defence as solid as possible. And when you've got the backup centre-back to Saliba, you've got the back forward and, a player that can back up to Saliba. Because we've got a backup left-back, we've got a backup right-back. It's just that we don't have a backup centre-back. And midfield, if you're able to... Arsenal want to win a league title via control. Not by, counter-attacking, not by transitional football, just control games. And when you go and sign a Declan Rice, you're adding more control to your team. Players that are able to win the ball back, keep the ball high up the pitch, sustain pressure. That's what we're trying to do. And, Rice could be our Rodri. He wouldn't be our Gundogan. He's not as much of a goal threat, but he's trying to just add another dual machine. Arsenal have got Saliba, who I believe was the highest player in terms of possession 1 defensive third. Right? Then we got Odegaard, who's the highest player in the attacking third of possession 1 as well. Rice, I think, was the highest in the midfield. You add Rice into that midfield, you're entering phase 4.
You know what, though? Come on, Bhavs. Do you like this, the idea that you're...
I love it.
No, come on. I know, matter aside, though, but the fact that you're measuring like success by phases when you can jump it and just say, you know what, we're getting the best in class, we're getting the best in quality. We don't have to wait 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, but we are though. We are getting the best in quality. Declan Rice is up there with the best in quality right now. So I don't know what I'm not measuring success off it. This is like Henry said earlier. Arsenal have got a plan. This is us following the plan. We're not losing composure. Certain teams will follow their plan, get to a certain stage, and then go, okay, well, let's go get this guy. No, we're trying to keep the plan.
Let me stop you there.
Stick to what's got you in the first place.
Let me stop you there. I've got a good question for you. So in January, if I said to you, right, Arteta, you need to spend this amount of money. Forget phase 4, phase 5. Just spend the money and you win the title. Do you think you would have took that option, or would you have said, you know what, we're going to wait until it's right next summer to follow that phase? This is what I'm trying to say. Like, if it's possible just to kind of do it rather than wait for the phase to kind of happen, why don't you?
But is it possible? Is it possible if we sign Rice, which is £100 million, and then you go for a Caicedo who's £80 million, you've already spent £180 million there. So how much do you have to spend? It is about, Arsenal also need to look at the market. Let's look at the context right now.
Yeah.
Who can Arsenal sign as a striker that is Erling Haaland, that is Harry Kane? Find me one.
There ain't anyone.
I can agree with you.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why in terms of strikers, I think Arsenal are waiting for the opportunity where they can just prioritise that as the main aim. Like, right now the aim is midfield. Xhaka and Partey are two of our older players, so it's about not moving them out of the team but replacing them in the long term. That's the security now. And if they blow, and I believe Arsenal will spend most of their money on midfielders, then phase 5 will be level raise the attack to 100 goals plus. But last year, 88 goals.
I need to write some notes, man.
Take some notes, man, because plans,
Everyone write some notes, man. This is
what about, would you not look at someone like Vlahovic or even Tony? Like Tony, admittedly, he ain't going to be probably fully fit, taking the time off until January. Or I know he ain't scored like huge amounts of goals, but there's a striker for Atalanta called, I think it's Højlund.
Holland, yeah.
Yeah,
my point is, right, Man City only changed their ways when they saw this superpower that was available. When they saw this generational player available, that's when they changed their ways. Prior to that, they were winning league title after league title with Jesus, with Sterling, that false nine profile. So Arsenal can do the same with that. But yeah, you're right. In terms of Champions League, I want a more clinical striker, but Holland is a risk. What if you pay that and he ends up being like a Mudryk? What if you go inside? The only name I look in the market right now that is a guaranteed goal threat for me is Osimhen. And that would cost, what, 120, 104? How could we go inside Rice and Osimhen and maybe a Caicedo in the same window? It's not happening.
Like the Kolomuanis of this world and these
I know, again, they're all good players, but are they Haaland? Because that's what we need, right? We need a Haaland.
Stay in, man.
Who's Haaland? So if we're going to change our style and make that more, let's go target man approach, who's there? When is it? Vlahovic, he's not Haaland. He's not Haaland. Vlahovic is good.
Haaland, but
and also Vlahovic would
15 goals to your team already on 82. That wins you a league.
Yeah, the thing is that we are trying to sign a forward though, so it will either be a striker or it will be a wide forward. We try to add 10 more goals, and let's not forget Trossard wasn't here for the first half of the season.
If you sign a striker, does Jesus become backup?
Jesus becomes he's like the floor in it. So in terms of like what Jesus is so perfect at, sign a striker, he can still play right wing and to a very high standard. He can play left wing to a high standard. Jesus will always find a way in the team, but right now he's a Firmino. He's the player that accommodates everyone else, that allows everyone else to play better.
Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of some super chats here. YUFC, big up my guy, always supporting the channel. How anyone in the Premier League are gonna allow Arsenal to sign Declan Rice is insane. He will completely elevate every team he goes to. Depressing. We got a super chat here from Blaze. Says, I don't know what phases are, but I know bottling. Big up to HK Music. My guy says these phases are what owners and managers tell fans to lower expectations. I'm sorry, it's a bunch of rubbish. And also Archie said, please, with no phases, man,
we got a trophy in the first phase. What's that on about? That's a lie. I'm confused. This is why fans don't run football clubs. Because if the fans run football clubs, we'd be like Chelsea. Because everyone loves Chelsea signings every year. Oh, Chelsea's.
No, but there has to be a balance, though. There has to be a balance.
No, there has to be a balance. But the point is, I realize that as a fan of the club, and having seen them got to this stage in the first place, I'm now allowing them the benefit of doubt. It's not a matter of let's just lose all composure and go winning.
Do you agree with people that have high standards and want to have?
Yeah, but I've got high standards. I want to win a title next year. So it's not like I've got low standards.
No, I don't think you have. But I think your kind of measurement to success is kind of almost like, I don't know. I'm not saying.
So let me ask you something, Bhavs. If you don't win the title next year, what happens? Who is accountable? Let's say you finish third or fourth. Man City obviously win it. and you don't win any trophies and you finish third or fourth, do you then look at changing the plan? Do you sack the manager? Do you bring someone in? What happens then? Because if you're right now, the aim is to win a title next year, right? If that doesn't happen, do you then change the personnel? Do you change manager? What happens?
It depends on the context, but if we sign Declan Rice, for example, so you get your main target and you sign a few, exactly, then and you don't win a league title, that is a failure. You failed your objective. Your objective is to win. You're not signing Rice to get top 4. You're not signing Rice to compete. You're signing Rice to win. So you failed in that objective. Then you ask yourself, okay, cool, where do we fall short? Is it a forward? Is it a striker? Is it a defender? And you look to add to that. And if it is Mikel Arteta's fault to why Arsenal have won a league title, then you look to replace the manager. But I don't believe that will be the issue. I think the issue, if we don't win a league title next year, will be Man City are very, very good and Arsenal are not quite there yet. But if we sign Declan Rice, I expect for us to be at that level or there and thereabouts. And I keep saying it, 90 plus 95 points is the target, and get that, and I think we'll win a league title.
Yeah.
At what point does phase 5 come to an end? Like when
phase 5 it sounds crazy now because everyone's gonna cook me for this, but phase 4 is winning a league title. Phase 5 is winning the Champions League, and you see it, Man City, right? You won the Premier League title before winning the Champions League, and I keep saying it. To win a Champions League, we will need to sign out a clinical striker when that striker becomes available. Why do you just
get to that level quickly, lad?
Because I'm not unrealistic. I realise that Arsenal can't address their midfield and spend £100 million on a midfielder, break their transfer record, and then go and sign another striker, which would cost £150 million like an Osimhen to do it again.
You can go follow the Man City route and
who are we going to sell them, my friend?
Well, a Party might be a starter.
Yeah, but how much Party's not going to allow us to spend 150 and 100 M's in the same window?
No, I'm saying you can obviously offload some players and then
we can, but also you take Party out of the team. Now you're losing squad depth. So now if Rice gets injured, who's available? So you have to be very careful. Party's not a player you get rid of. A player that you get rid of is the likes of Holding, for example, yeah. But you have to be very careful in that as well. Arsenal are just doing a nice and steady improvement. I'm not trying to... And also, by the way, we're not going for no B-rate players here. We're going for first team starters. Caicedo, Rice, examples. And get those players there, you'll elevate yourself, for me, to title winning standard.
Yeah. Big up to everybody here, man. There's over 1,000 people, 1.1k actually, man. Listen, everyone here, make sure you're following Bhavs, make sure you're following Henry Wright TV, make sure you follow City Extra and Huey. It's been a good debate show. We're here for opinions, man. So anyone here, you know what I mean? Like I said, if you've got a different opinion, come and have your say. I mean, put a super chat in, put a comment in. We'll read them out. Like I said, it's all about opinions in this talk, people. Big up to Blaze, who's coming here saying here, don't be surprised to see a team like Chelsea skip all the phases, stages to be back to challenging. But Arsenal is the only team in the world lowering standards. Sad. We've got a super chat here from HK Music. Big up, my guys.
Winning a titles, lowering standards.
So the first phase is trophies, then second and third is no trophies. Please, how does that make sense? Chelsea has the most trophies out of all the English clubs in the last 15 years. Your standards have been lowered by phases. That's
Incorrect.
from him.
Incorrect. When phases is your team, and phases towards building a title-winning team. So Arsenal are in phase 4 of building a successful title-winning team. I don't get why it's so hard to understand. I'm not saying phase 1. It's like levels, right? It's not like phase 1 is win the Carabao Cup. Phase 2 is win the FA Cup. Phase 3 is I'm talking about you building a team. But that's what Mikel. I'm just echoing the manager, right? This is what he said, and this is what fans believe.
So if West Ham win the Conference League, what phase does that put them in?
No, it's not. No, trophies are not about the phase. The phase is about building the team, the squad building phase.
All right, okay.
So that's what it is. You're squad building. You're in phase 4. So phase 1 might have been get rid of the Deadwood players. Phase 2 might have been get rid of a bit more of the players that aren't quite good enough for the first team. Phase 3 is building the first team. Arsenal have the first 11 now. You look at the Arsenal starting 11. Do we not have the 11? We've got a very good 11. But there's certain areas of the depth that we need to add. So add the depth in that's phase 4.
Yeah, I got a super chat.
I don't know why I'm explaining this so much. It's not hard to understand.
I don't know, man. I just feel like for me, man, I don't know what is Arteta has said yet, but I just feel like for me, just aim to win. Like if you're a big club, like
I am aiming to win. Though, where are you getting this twisted? Though, my aim is still to win.
No, I'm not saying this to you. I just feel
but
like
this is my plan to win. You can't just go. I want to go marry Beyonce. I got to have a plan to go marry Beyonce. You can't just go. I just want to marry her. That's my plan now. You got to have some sort of steps there to get there. You can't just. Yeah, well, that's my ambition. What is ambition if there's no plan to get to the ambition?
Yeah. Nah, I hear you. Let's get rid of this because I want to talk on Tottenham anyway. Archie, big up my guy, says, so what phase is Ten Hag then? Arteta hasn't won a cup and finished.
You're in phase 1 of the squad building, yeah. Because you still got to get rid of half the squad like we did in phase 1 as well.
There you go.
Bro, this
so what
face
phase, man,
stuff
talk
is
about?
nonsense, man.
Of
This
course,
face
Huey,
stuff
we
is-
don't all have the advantage of
man.
super rich owners that will just sign players whoever we want. We don't have the sugar daddy,
Bhavs,
right?
man. Bhavs, Arsenal.
We have to.
Arsenal
Sometimes
are-
you have to be like Liverpool, right? You have to just slowly, surely get there. Step by step,
Arsenal
baby
are-
steps.
Arsenal are what, as you claim, a powerhouse, a massive club in English football. Why does it take 6, 7, 8 years to build a title-winning team? You're not like Leicester, you're not like Crystal Palace. You're a massive club with massive resources. There shouldn't be phases to get to challenging for a title. As you talk
No,
about
there
how high
should.
your standards are all the time, it shouldn't.
It's perfectly logical to have a 3-year process to get to the West stage. Man City. Man City. How many years have you had Pep Guardiola? 6, 7. So
Yeah,
you're
6, 7
7 years.
Pep
7
won
years
in his
deep.
second season. Pep won in his
because
second
you already
season. We
had.
went from phase 1 to 5 in 12 months.
The difference was Pep Guardiola inherited a squad that won a title not the year before, but the year before that. So you already had that atmosphere of winning titles. Mikel Arteta has inherited an Arsenal team that wasn't in the top 4. So he's got to build a top 4 team first to win a title-winning team. That's the difference right now. It's like Chelsea when Conte won the league, having finished 10th the year before that. Well, people forget the year before that Chelsea finished first. So the likes of Fabregas and Costa had title-winning experience. Mikel Arteta was building from nothing. Arsenal were a 5th and 6th place team. A Guendouzi, a Aubameyang, Lacazette. Those players were not good enough to win a title, so you have to scrap them. So I'm sure United are the same now. United will have certain players that fans might love now, but in a year's time, they go, okay, this guy's not good enough for us anymore.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Big up to, obviously, you've kind of finished this question yourself. So big up Archie. Bhavs has kind of mentioned what you just said there. Big up to Fan Reactions Football Club. Arsenal's success next year will not only be measured by winning the title, but also how good we do in the Champions League. Yeah, absolutely. Divas says phase 5 finish with Thanos coming to Earth. Big up HK Moose said that these phases got expiration dates, or are you just going to keep the standards low and pray City have an off season? These phases are fans keep quiet. You just don't know. You just don't see it. You will when you don't win anything by phase 10. Listen, I hope Bob doesn't wait till that day, because at the end of the day, I don't know when that is.
I've literally legitimately said phase 4 is to win a title. That's 4 years, right? That's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Slowly, right? Phase 4, win a title. Phase 5, win a Champions League, or at least compete for a Champions League.
I'm phased. Yeah. I'm totally phased right now myself, man.
I don't know why everyone's so confused. Maybe I just changed it.
I feel like we need a new topic. I feel like we need a new topic. So this will be the last super chat.
Too many phases.
There's too many phases.
I can't say that word again.
I'm phazed. I'm phased now.
Phase up, man. Phase up.
I'm dazed. Forget phase. I'm dazed. You know what I'm saying to you? HK Moose said, why did it take Arteta 3 seasons to finally get a higher points total than Emery? Listen, do you want to answer that one, Baz, before we wrap up on that bit there?
Emery had a very good first year, but people will not realise that in terms of all of our underlying numbers, we were worse than Wolves. So we had a very lucky year under Emery, amazing. And then what happened the year after that? He fell apart.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I don't know about phases, but I know bottling. That's from before. Yeah, let's talk about Tottenham, man. Henry, what's going on with Tottenham?
Why do you say it like that?
If we're talking about phases, I don't know what Tottenham's phases is.
So. No, we're not even in. We're in phase negative 5,000, mate.
Yeah.
We've So we the last time I was on, we were looking at bringing in Arne Slot. Now Daniel Levy, we all know he's a what's the right way to say it? Quite a tight businessman, I guess you could say. Well, he is. Feyenoord wanted, I think, 10 million euros, and then we didn't want to pay it. So we're now looking at Ange Postecoglou, who is the Celtic manager. I think if he wins the trophy on Saturday, he does a treble. He's managed in Japan, Australia, Scotland, but our fan base is completely divided down the middle, because people will say, "Oh yeah, why are we getting Postecoglou?" Like Guardiola's sung his flowers and said that he's a really good coach. He just hasn't done it in a top 5 league yet. But then you got the other side of our fan space saying, "Oh, why can't we get Nagelsmann and why can't we get Slot?" The problem is Daniel Levy does not want to pay the fee to go and get a manager. You think, right? £10 million doesn't even get you Ollie Skip. But in a manager world, £10 million is an astronomical amount of money to go and get a manager. Now, if we bring in Postecoglou, I don't really want phases. I want a plan. What is the plan? If Harry Kane's going to go to Man United in the summer, we are royally finished. Like, there goes 60% of our goal contributions next season. Then what happens? Who goes up front? But more importantly than the manager, we need to bring a director of football in. Like, we haven't got a play style. Like Arsenal and City, pressing, tiki-taka, possession-based. Man United can do both, depending on who they're playing, counter-attacking. What do we do? Be real, what is Tottenham's style of play? No one can give me an answer because we don't have it.
You don't know. In Pochettino, it was kind of free-flowing football.
Yeah, Pochettino, it was pressing front of front. It was we had high-energy players like Dele Alli. Right now, Kane doesn't want to press. Kane just wants to put the ball in the back of the net. So right now, we need to bring in a director of football, then bring in a manager who are on the same page. My dream would have been Ralph Rangnick and Julian Nagelsmann. Both know the same type of player they want to look for. Ralph Rangnick's talent he's brought in is unbelievable, the list of players he's brought in. But right now, we're looking at a manager who hasn't ever managed in the top 5 leagues, hasn't managed in a team that's going to have barely a transfer budget, and every Tottenham fan keeps telling me about a rebuild. A rebuild means you've won something and you're building back up to that level. We just need to build. Like, be real. Does anyone even know who Postecoglou is?
I mean, Huey knows everything about him. If you wanna,
he's a good manager, but like he's not known, is he? So does that benefit us in terms of bringing someone in where there is a lot less pressure because we're not bringing in a Conte or a Mourinho. I'm sick and tired of this win now managers. Like, it's not going to work at Tottenham. We need a manager maybe like Postecoglou who's going to do a big clear out, trim the squad down because we're not in Europe, playing 1 game a week. We should be reliant on 17, 18 players. Like, let's be real, 70% of our squad should be sold immediately.
Yeah. Immediately. I agree. Big Ben says here, can anyone save Kulu? He's got big potential. I mean,
Huey, just signed him on a permanent.
Oh, you just signed him now?
Yeah, 31 million. We're going to sign him. It's going to be July the 1st.
So that goes out your budget, though. It's kind of a bit of a shit one, isn't it? When you think about it, like.
Then we got to pay 40 million for Porro as well. So there's 70 million gone already.
What about Romero?
Yeah, we bought him in.
You know what Levy does. It's a loan of an obligation to borrow an option. So if it doesn't work, you can go back to the club. So we've spent 70 million pounds before we even get to replacing any player. Like, apparently the club have come out and said they're going to rip up 8 to 9 contracts. Like, do you know Perisic is on 180 grand a week? I know it's not my money, but the guy's 33 years of age.
That's cap. That's cap.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that.
I'll shut you and share my screen.
No, I love to hear that because I got killed when I told Spurs fans in the summer he'd be a poor signing. No, he'd be amazing because he's got experience. Well, you can hold experience for 180k a week.
I thought that would be a good signing, but when you look at the Premier League, man, he does not suit the Premier League at all, man.
He's a good player, bro. Some of the hype I was hearing. I don't know, man.
He earns 9.2 million a year, right? Divide that by 52.
Is he on a 3-year contract or a 2-year contract?
£176,000 a week. And he's on a 2-year contract. He signed a 2-year contract for 18.5 million. He's on 176 grand a week. Ivan Perisic.
But that's what Conte does, isn't it? Conte goes for old players on high wages.
The thing is, going into a team like Inter Milan, going into a team like Juve, and going into a team like Chelsea is completely different to what we haven't won a major, like, you can call it a League Cup. Okay, let's call it a League Cup major honour. We haven't won a major honour in 15 years. Like, the standards at these football clubs in the gutter. You've got Beyonce at our stadium now. That's the biggest star we've had in years.
I'm looking forward to it tomorrow.
It's ridiculous. We've got a go-kart track coming in November, Saeed. As a business...
You know the Beyonce comments here? You know what I was doing here? I was just going through the quote tweets here.
I mean, it's hilarious.
All your Tottenham, like, you know, the big guys that go to the match day, going fans and that, they're all saying, what has our fucking club become, man? What has our club become?
Let's be real. Like, we used to... We're never going to be... I'm not expecting Tottenham to be a team anytime soon to win in the Premier League or Champions League. We've never been that club. We were that club in the 60s when we were the first team to ever do the double, which is when the FA Cup was huge. And then we won a couple of Europa Leagues and FA Cups, but now we can't even get past the 5th round of the FA Cup. We haven't got past the 5th round of the FA Cup in nearly 10 years. Like, the problem is
you've got a new signing though. You've got a new signing. You've got a new signing though coming to Tottenham. Have you heard about him?
Here we go. Well, who's this going to be?
No, honestly, he's apparently the next kind of like Pogba region. Have you heard about him?
Who's this going to be? Go on, enlighten me.
She's not gonna
Yeah,
know
the
that.
anticipation.
Oh, oh.
Look at this.
This is the
Bruno
Pogba
wants
weekend,
to
man.
return to Tottenham and revive his career. This is our record signing who comes back with a Scudetto medal. Brian fucking Hill, excuse my French, comes back with a Europa League medal. How do these players that are scrubs go and win trophies? And we've got arguably the best player we've had in the Premier League era with Gareth Bale sitting there with nothing in Harry Kane.
You know what? Yeah,
Ndombele.
banner aside, Ndombele is actually a good footballer. Like
Technically, yeah, he's brilliant. The
technically
attitude.
press resistant. He's strong. He's in terms of like someone coming next to him, he'll just bully off the ball. He's got all the attributes, but it's a fitness issue. It's injuries. It's his application.
It's the attitude. So that's what it is. Like he's got like that lower center of gravity where the ball can come into feet and he can turn and he can drop the shoulder really quickly. He reminds me a lot of like similar to Moussa Dembele, but Dembele had the attitude and the work ethic. So this guy was a machine. You just couldn't. Yaya Toure did an interview saying that you just couldn't get the ball off of him. This is Yaya Toure. The problem is like we've got so much to get rid of. Like Højbjerg and Skip both need to be sold. Hugo Lloris is going.
Højbjerg.
Yeah, Højbjerg's an absolute scrub. Anyone who tells you Højbjerg's a good footballer is completely clapped. The guy is not. He's pony. Look at centre-backs. We've got one good centre-back between us in Romero. Lloris is going, which means Forster could be the number one. If Kane goes, what happens then? Son this season, as
he's on the decline, man. He's on the decline, Son. Let's be honest.
Who gives a 29-year-old a 5-year contract? Who does that? Like, let's be real. 2-year, 3-year max. I mean, do you know why we've kept him? Because of the marketing rights he's got. Because every single time we bring out a new shirt, he sells like hotcakes. He sells more shirts than any player in the Premier League.
That's why they keep him, though. Let's be honest here. You know what it is here? A lot of people will look at this and think, yeah, you know what we're talking about, like. But I think for me, South Korea, the amount of traction that he can bring.
He's like Ronaldo over there.
Yeah, he's the Ronaldo, South Korean Ronaldo. So you want to keep it for marketing, commercial reasons. Like, that's the reality of the situation.
I get we're a business, but like our business is football. Right now, what Daniel Levy's done to the football club is the football is now the insurance policy. He's got the NFL, he's got the UFC. Apparently, we're getting WWE SummerSlam as well next year. He's got.
Bhavs might be there, man. Bhavs, so you like WWE?
I'm there tomorrow, so I might go there again.
Well. I'll be shameless. I'll be watching.
Where's that tomorrow?
I'm going to Beyonce tomorrow night.
Oh, you got Beyonce? Man, like Bhavs,
I'm unfollowing you off social media for a day because I can't.
Why is that?
Beyonce,
we're finally going to star in his stadium or something like that.
No, I'm not. I'm out of that phase now. That phase is over. That was phase 2 of the phase. We're into phase 3.
Bro, man, like Bhavs, shaking it for the Beyonce. Come on.
Listen, bro.
Right, listen, I could have been at the Coldplay tonight.
Listen, I don't mind that stadium, and I've been to it before. I've been to it for the NFL. It's a very good stadium.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The stadium is state of the art. But when you look at the squad, like let's be real. Outside of Harry Kane this season, how many of our players get into Man United or Arsenal's team? Outside of Kane.
Yeah, it's just Kane, isn't it, really? Let's be honest.
Mate, you might maybe put a question mark on Bentancur. Right?
Yeah, Bentancur but I think for me, I think Bentancur is a question mark. But I know what you mean. It's only Harry Kane, really.
This season, Kulusevski's been
a lot can change, doing it. A year ago that would have been Romero. It would have been Kulusevski. It would have been Højbjerg. A lot of players. A good manager can change a lot. So you look at, for example, Aston Villa. When they had a poor manager like Gerrard, these players looked awful. Now they had a good manager, Emery, who's got a nice little system in place. They got European football. So Spurs' players aren't that bad. They're still salvageable.
No, come on.
No, I'm not saying keep them. But I'm saying there's a higher standard for them. And I think even this year, if you'd maybe kept Conte, you could have maybe got 5th or 6th potentially.
No, the players that never believed in him, like the players like Højbjerg and Dyer, like they're very emotional, reactional players. So if you'll get behind them, they'll try and perform. Yeah. But we can't be giving Dyer a 3-year contract. That's criminal. No. The guy I've seen London buses turn quicker than this guy.
Like I think what your fans need is a manager who plays just a good brand of football for now. Just a good, so you can see something. So you can see what's happening. that when you see what's happening, fans go, okay, you know what, I can see what's happening now. When you've got Conte and he was, very effective, but it can be very boring and it can be draining. And as football fans, you want to be entertained, right? So you need to just get a manager who can get the best out of your attackers, like Richarlison, like Son, for example, Kulusevski, because that's a very good attack there. And you get the ball to them and, maybe return a bit like Pochettino football where you're pressing, you're, holding teams in and trying to actually play them and beat them.
We need centre-backs that are good with their feet who can play out of the back. That was when we had Poch and we had the likes of Toby, Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen. They were both excellent with the ball at their feet. And then we had Walker and Rose. And now you look at it, we've got Perisic, who's 33, right? Let Ben Davis, Emerson Royale.
You got that kid coming, the left-back's coming.
Udogie is like that. I didn't believe he's an unbelievable player. He won't be at Tottenham long. I'll tell you that now.
But he probably suits a back three though, or is he playing a back four?
Porro and Udogie, they're not really wing backs. They're like midfielders just playing there. Like if you look at Porro when he goes forward, he's got enough for a goal. He scored 3 goals since he's come in. But defensively, he couldn't mark a cone.
That's the problem. That's the problem. If you want to, return to a back four now, you've got 2 profiles that just don't suit it.
That's what I'm saying. And you've got Jed Spence as well, another one who's good going forward, but defensively. So then you
squad planning at your club's a joke.
If we're playing a back 3, right?
This is why you need phases, bro. We have no phases. You got no plans. This is what happens. You lose all composure. I'll sign him and I'll sign that and I'll sign him and I'll sign that. That's what happens, bro.
Get on the phases, university, man.
Get on the phases, bro.
We need a massive clear out in the summer. Like the idea going into this summer should be, let's stick to 17, 18 players that we're going to use for the League Cup, FA Cup, and League, and build. But if Harry Kane does join United or whoever it's going to be, talking about Madrid now, I worry for the future of this football club. Like real talk. I think on the other side, now this will be bigger than when we lost Bow. We weren't in. We still had players in and around that team, right? Right now, if we lose Harry Kane, I look around and go, right, who's stepping up? Because Richarlison scored 1 goal this season. He's got the same amount of goals as Dyer.
No, but on the other side, you could look at it and say, if you retain some of the good players and you invest on top of it and get a good manager in, you could be, dark horses for Europe next year. Because you got no European football. 1 game a week, and you can focus on that, and
But these owners have had a history of when they spend money, it's horrendous. Like when we got in the Champions League, we spent 100 million on Lo Celso and Ndombele. Both turned out to be absolutely useless. When we sold Bow, we signed Chiriches, Nasser Chadli, Eric Lamela, Soldado, Paulinho. The only gem in there was Ericsson. That was the only one you could go, okay, that was a good buy. And we had our old director of football, Mitchell, who brought through the likes of Dele Alli, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Dembele, Wanyama. Now, whoever this person comes in, apparently he's got to be data analytical so we can do it like Brighton. That takes 3 to 5, maybe even 10 years to get ready.
Yeah. Or like I said to you, just go and get the best in quality, and you go and get the Brighton guy, and you go and get people. But problem is, it all comes back to Daniel Levy, and he's really.
Would you want to leave Brighton right now to join Tottenham? Real talk, going into next season.
That's what I mentioned to. Who did I mention? I mentioned to Patrick. Even when I look at Vincent Kompany, why would he jump ship at an exciting project at Burnley to ruin his reputation at Tottenham?
Look at Thomas Frank, right? We were linked with Thomas Frank, right? He just signed a 4-year deal with Brentford. Why would he leave Brentford, right, to potentially join Tottenham? Like, who's the guy? When we lost them 3-1, I can't remember who the guy that played on the right against us was. Moembo or something like that?
Yeah, Moembo. Yeah.
He come out and said that Thomas Frank's going to be here for a long time. Like, even if they lose Tony, you still trust that the job at Brentford with Thomas Frank is going to be better next season with Tottenham. We're in them. Yeah. Trust me, I don't even want to talk about phases. We're not even on the starting line yet for the run.
You got to be excited at a sense, because you can start again. You can start fresh. All it takes is one good manager.
22
but all
years
you need to return to your roots, right? And your roots is actually having a process in place. It's not just about win now manager. You've seen it with Conte and Mourinho. Return to the Pochettino route. Sign a manager where maybe fans don't know him or they're not convinced about him, but the club know he's the guy and he's the right profile manager to get you playing the right brand of football and get you in the right categories. That's what you need, man. Because I think watching Spurs play football, I don't know how you guys watched it for so long, because it is so boring. But you've got some good players there. And I think, I know Richarlison scored 1 goal this year, but I think get him in the right system and start him week in, week out. I don't think why he can't score.
60 million, though. 60 million. Who in the right line is paying that?
But look, there's been examples in the past of players have had poor first seasons and then excelled after that. For me,
Yeah,
though,
that
Liverpool's
first season, yeah. I agree. Before we wrap up, I just want to say that was funny by Richarlison on that TikTok page talking
Yeah,
about.
too right, flipping.
What did he
That,
do?
that pissed me off, man. Callum Wilson and Antonio have got the audacity to sit there laughing. One hasn't even scored his highest goal record in the Premier League is 12 goals or 10 goals. And Callum Wilson's been injured for more games than he started. And they're sitting there going, oh, but Richarlison's ripped his shirt off. How many games you played in the World Cup, mate?
Oh my god! Listen,
I mean,
I'm gonna wrap it up on there.
Antonio doesn't even play. Who's he play? He plays for Jamaica. He can't even get in the World Cup. And Callum Wilson's so far away from the England squad. It's a joke. And they're sitting there having the audacity to laugh at
Wilson's
him.
had a good year. He's scored 18 goals.
He had a good year, but they were violating him.
So what happened? What did they say?
They said, oh, every time he's scored, he's ripped his shirt off, done a knee slide, then it's been offside. Like, bro,
You know, what's his name though? He needs to lower himself down though. Innit? What's his name? Antonio. My man said he scored 30 goals in a Man City.
Haaland.
Like, that was
madness. Absolute madness. These guys are right back playing up front.
Self-belief, you got to rate in it, I guess.
You got to rate him, man. That's what you're about, man. Shout out to Antonio, innit? But listen, people, there's still 1,000 people in here. We're gonna wrap it up here. Big up to everybody who's watching. We've got 40 likes till 500 likes, people. Make sure you hit the like button. I always say 500 like target on the channel all the time. So 40 people, hit the like button right now. Big up Bhavs, man, for tuning in every week and coming on, man. What are you telling them, man? You got anything planned? Anything going on?
Transfers.
There you go. Make sure you're locked in. Bhavs, biggest edits on there. Man's, you know what I mean? Man's cleaning up the algorithms right now. If you want to know about Bhavs and the transfer window, Fabrizio Romano, bang. Listen, you know what the score is, man. Check out Bhavs.
Here we go.
Here we go, exactly. And also, if you want to learn about more phases, check out Bhavs' channel.
There will be a video. 5 phases.
You know what? Do it. Actually, do it. Like, you know, if you want to watch
No, there
it,
is videos out there already. Just Google Arsenal's 5 phase plan. You'll find it.
Wow. There you go, people. Henry, big up to you, man. Always, man. Let them know what you're doing, man.
Yeah, same as Bhavs. Just transfers, manager talk, director of football talk. Apparently, we're being linked with Qataris now as well, which is madness.
Not our Qataris, is it?
Yeah, the same ones.
Ooh.
Flipping hell, mate. Listen.
The problem is everyone on Twitter now thinks they're a reporter. So unless it's Romano saying it, like everyone
don't fall
else
for that Qatari account either. It's called
exactly
Qatari.
that guy. I'm gonna unfollow him.
That guy's the biggest clickbait I've ever seen in my life.
But yeah, man. Anyone wants to subscribe? It's Henry Wright TV. Big up for having me on again.
Always,
and,
man. Always, good, man. Always, man. We'll be back next week, people. Next Friday, we'll be here. For the Rivals Talk. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to City Extra. Big up to Drifty. He won't be here. Obviously, he's not been here this week, but he'll be back next week, hopefully. And yeah, man, I'll see you tomorrow, Wembley. I'll be at the game tomorrow, so no watch along. So listen, I'm there, Wembley. I'm going to be setting off at 6 in the morning, man. 6 in the morning. Because apparently, Big Steve was driving up there today, and the M6 is a madness. So London's going to be crazy. I'm going to be leaving tomorrow.
Why don't you just train it?
No trains. Bro, you guys,
what about flight?
You lot
Oh,
striking.
yeah, cool. Yeah.
You lot striking. What are you lot doing, man?
No, there's no strikes on the tube, though.
Hey?
There's no strikes on the tube, though.
No, but it's getting down into London.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Getting down
wow.
London, we'll have to drive it down.
These train strikes are long, man.
Yeah. Train strikes, people, you know what I mean? Them man are getting paid nicely, but, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? But listen, people, we'll like the video. We'll see you soon. Take care.